I'm back with another What's for Dinner video where I share 3 meals that I made for dinner this week. These are all under 45 minutes, so they are really easy and quick to put together, so they are perfect for weeknight dinners. I'm starting off this video with some chicken vegetable curry soup. It's not an authentic curry by any means, but it is really, really good. And it's one of my favorite soups to make, especially during the fall. I was trying to find the recipe link for this soup, but it seems to have been taken down, so I was just trying to work off of memory here. But I started off by sauteing some diced onion until that was translucent, and then I added some minced garlic, some ginger, and a tablespoon or so of this Thai red curry paste. Then I started to break that down and cook down the red curry paste with the aromatics, and after a couple of minutes I added some diced chicken breast. I also added a little bit of oil here because the pan was a little dry. So here's my chicken breast. It's about a pound or so of chicken breast. And I'm just going to toss that with the oil, adding some salt and some pepper to make sure that it's well seasoned. And I'm not going to cook this all the way through. I'm just kind of searing it, almost like just sealing the ends, making sure that there's no more pink on the chicken, and it'll finish cooking once I add the rest of my ingredients. So after a few minutes, I added some coconut milk. I'm also going to add some water. There's some chicken, what is it, Better Than Bouillon chicken base in there. You can also use chicken broth instead of the water. And then I'm adding about a tablespoon of soy sauce, some curry powder, and I'm going to mix that all together and let it come up to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I'm going to reduce this to a simmer, cover it up, and I'm just going to let it simmer for about 10 minutes. And there was a little piece of something there, so I just removed that. And after 10 minutes, I'm going to start to add my vegetables. So today I'm adding some carrots and some zucchini. Both of these will cook around the same time, so I just went ahead and added them together. But if you're using vegetables that take longer, you would want to add the ones that take longer first and then add the ones that don't take as long to make sure that your vegetables don't overcook. After 10 minutes, the vegetables were softened, so this soup is pretty much ready. I just tasted it, added a little bit of sriracha, also added a handful of cilantro, and I'm going to add a squeeze of lime. I really like the lime here. I feel like it just makes all the flavors pop. Then I added some soy sauce and finished it up with a little bit more curry powder and some cayenne pepper just to add more spice to this. You can also cook some noodles or something while the vegetables are cooking if you want more of like a full noodle soup. I decided to make some rice on the side today, so here I'm just serving my soup with the rice along the side. And this is so good. It's just one of my favorite things to make, and I highly recommend you try it. It's delicious. One thing that I really miss from living in LA is the tacos. There were tacos everywhere, and I just don't really get that out here anymore. So sometimes, every now and then, I decide that we're gonna have a taco night. So I like to season my own meat whenever I do make tacos. So I added some juice of an orange, some lemon juice. You can also use lime juice. I did use lime juice. And then some carne asada seasoning, salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, some cumin, and a little bit of chili powder. I also added a big drizzle of olive oil and mixed everything together. And I'm just gonna mix this very, very well. I also do this earlier in the day because I do like to let my meat marinate, so I let this marinate for about 4 hours this day. I also added some raw onions and some cilantro that I'm just kind of gonna break down the middle here, sprinkle everywhere, and then mix that up. Once everything is well incorporated, I'm going to cover it up with some plastic wrap, stick it in the refrigerator, and then once I'm ready to cook it, I'm just going to remove it from the refrigerator maybe about 30 to 45 minutes before, just to let the meat come down to room temperature a little bit. And today I'm just going to cook it on my stove. So I have a pan here with some oil on it. I'm just going to add the meat, and I'm just going to continue to kind of stir it every now and then, let it sit. The meat does release like a lot of liquid as it's cooking. I don't like to drain it. I feel like it's just a lot of flavor that gets lost if you drain it, so I just let it evaporate. And then it'll kind of like look like this. Just keep stirring until it's as crispy as you want it. Just not too much because you don't want it to dry out, but this was perfect. This is how we like ours, and yeah, this is really easy. While the meat was cooking, I was warming up some tortillas. So here on my griddle, I added a little bit of oil I feel like it helps the tortillas hold the meat better. So I added some oil. I'm just kind of tossing the tortillas, making sure they're coated in a little bit of oil. I'm going to warm them up on both sides, and then once they are warm, I'll start to build my tacos. These are really small tortillas, and I'm only showing that I'm building 2 tacos here, but trust me, I ate like maybe 4 or maybe even 6 of these. The tortillas were really small. So I'm just adding the meat to the tortillas, and then I'm going to top them with all of my favorite toppings for tacos. So here are my some onion, cilantro, also some of my homemade red salsa and homemade green salsa. And I also serve this with a side of rice, and you can barely see it, but there are some beans over in the corner. And when I eat tacos like this, I love to top my beans with the same thing that I add on my tacos. It is so good. If you haven't tried it, I strongly recommend it. And this was our meal for this day, and I already want to have it again. And for the last meal here, I wasn't really sure where I was going with this, but it all ended up working out in the end, so I'm glad that I tried it. I started off making some kind of like the bulgogi ground turkey thing that I made in a previous video. So I started with the same base recipe. I added some brown sugar, some soy sauce, sesame oil, and rice vinegar. This time I decided to also add a little bit of this Thai chili sauce and some garlic, I grated some ginger in here as well. And that's pretty much it for the sauce, so I just mixed it all together and set the sauce aside. Today I wanted to add some extra vegetables when I cook the meat, so I'm adding some onion, carrots, and bell peppers. And this actually worked out really well. I was a little bit skeptical about it, but it was really good, and you can't really taste the vegetables too much in like in the meal. But I don't know, it adds a good flavor, and it kind of also bulks up the meal. So if you don't want to use too much meat, this is a really great way to do it. So yeah, I'm just gonna cook this until the vegetables are softened, and then I'm adding some ground turkey. I'm going to start cooking the turkey down until it's no longer pink. And once the turkey starts to release like a lot of the liquid, I'm not gonna cook it all the way. I'm just gonna cook it until it's mostly not pink anymore. It still has that liquid there. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and add all of my sauce. And at this point, I just stir everything together and kind of let it sit and do its thing. It's just going to start, or a lot of the liquid will start to evaporate, and all of the flavors will become very concentrated. So I just let it sit, come in every now and then. Not let it sit, I let it simmer. Make sure it's at a simmer. And every now and then I just come in and give everything a stir, and eventually it starts to look something like this. And at this point you'll start to hear it sizzle. This is when all of the turkey starts to brown and crisp up a little bit, and that's what you want. So this was it. I added a little bit of sesame seeds. If I had some scallion greens, I would have added them here too for a pop of color, but I didn't. So this is what I had today. I served this with some white rice, some spinach, cucumbers, avocado, and a drizzle of sriracha. This is such an easy and overall healthy meal to make, so it's one of my favorites to make during the week when I don't know what else to cook. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.